just noticed there's a cardboard coffee cup down there on the seat as well. While you're out here, you might want to tidy up. Past their ABC this morning on my bike ride to see if there was the off chance I might speak with Annika Smethurst or Cameron Stewart following Insiders this morning. The only person who has emerged from the ABC enclave has been a security guard who's been pacing up and down for a while. It would appear that no one's going to come out while I'm around, so what I'd hoped to ask the folks was their view on the comments by Pelosi and Biden and Psaki about how disgustingly racist were the actions of the US Border Patrol officers who were mounted on horses and swishing their reins around while manoeuvring the horses to engage with the hordes of Haitian migrants who were entering the United States illegally. Biden actually stood at the lectern and said it was absolutely disgusting and the people responsible would face consequences. And this is the clown who oversaw the catastrophic US withdrawal from Afghanistan, and in particular Kabul, and the suicide bombing which killed 13 US servicemen and women, and no one's going to suffer any consequences for that. General Milley isn't going to suffer any consequences for reportedly indicating that he would collude with China to give them a heads up if Trump was proposing any sort of military action against China. No consequences for Milley. No consequences for Milley and the other clowns who announced that the US had conducted a successful strike against ISIS-K a couple of days after the bombing that killed the 13 US service people. And it turned out it wasn't ISIS-K bombers at all, but a civilian aid worker who had cooperated with the US, killed him and 7 children, amongst others. And no consequences for the people who planned and executed that either. I don't blame the drone operators who remotely controlled the release of the Hellfire missile, but the senior military officers working down from Lloyd Austin and General Milley and anyone at an administrative function above that deserve to suffer consequences. But nah, Biden and crew are going to crack down on Border Patrol officers who were swirling the reins on their horses in the face of the attempted illegal entry into the United States across the river. I might point out that some years ago, my mother, who was probably in her 80s at the time, was scheduled to fly to the US from Australia, where she was residing at the time. subsequent to her application, her ticket purchase to go to the States, a family member in the US had instituted the process of gaining permanent residency for my mother. She's a former US citizen, having married a US serviceman during the Second World War. And because she had a pending permanent residency application, her visa to enter the US on a holiday from Australia was blocked. So she had to remain in Australia and lost the ticket price, I believe, and some cruises that she'd booked, because the official US government policy is to block admission to people who have a pending residency application. Well, my mother got blocked, but over 1 million illegal entrants on the southern border so far this year have been granted entrance by the friggin' Biden administration, and no one is paying any price for that, except existing US citizens who are going to have to put up with the consequences for the rest of their lives. Incidentally, in October 2020, I was out for a bike ride within 500 metres of my front door in Southbank when I encountered a demonstration going on in St Kilda Road. And I rode along St Kilda Road heading towards the city, and I found that there was a demonstration going on, and the police had blocked off the access to Prince's Bridge. And despite the fact that I wasn't a demonstrator, that I was just attempting to cycle across the bridge, the line of mounted police officers approached, and I was pushed out of the way by a cop on a horse. Now, I wonder if Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Jen Psaki would find that an absolutely disgusting racist approach by Victoria Police, mounted police officers. I don't bear any grudge to the horse. However, I do begrudge the hypocrisy of these frigging talking heads, including Joe Sock Puppet Biden, who are just going berserk over this incident on the southern border. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders.